So today would have been day, it would have been day 6 for Vlogmas, but just I'm feeling nauseous like every day so far. So it is day, let's see, I think I'm on, as of today it's week 7. Exactly 7 weeks today, and I don't know, man. I don't have an appetite for anything. I don't want to make anything. I don't want to smell anything. If you couldn't tell by the title, I'm pregnant and I am almost 35 weeks. I'll be 35 weeks on Monday. And I'm having a lot of pain. You can see from back, that is the belly at 30. See, my hip is about to do that thing again. This is the belly at 37 weeks, and alright, here we go. I'm trying to get through this video just before he gets, like, you know, antsy, I guess. So, and there goes the sun coming in really weird, like, alright, well, anyways, what's up guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Finally, I'm filming this video. I tried to film it earlier this week and I didn't like it. It was all over the place, wasn't really organized. I didn't really think about it that well. I just kind of sat down and tried to film it, and then I was like, no, because for a video that's going to be kind of like vlog style, just me running my mouth about this, I needed to be a little bit more like together, I guess. So I have Kello, my son, who is now 7 weeks and 1 day old, in my lap. I have a bottle right here, just in case he needs it. I mean, he needs to finish that one. He's been kind of weird lately with his feedings, but yeah. So if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, give this video a like. Welcome to my channel, where I'm posting like mom related content, vlog videos, lifestyle, and also just a little bit of beauty, but it's cruelty free beauty, so that's what I'm all about. Anyways, now that you've been introduced to my channel, you know my son's name, let's get into my birth story. Alright, so we're gonna take it back all the way. I wish I would have had some of this on video, but like, it was my first birth. It was like really fast, and also like I like to keep some stuff private, so we're gonna try and give you guys the best detail here. So okay, he's like watching me, he's looking at me. Yeah, he's smiling at me, aren't you? Yeah, he's so cute. Most beautiful baby in the world. Okay, anyways, so we're gonna dial it back to the day that, or the night rather, that I went into labor, which was August 5th. It was a Wednesday, and around like 9:45, I think around like 9, I had like my first contraction, but it was like mild, and I was like, maybe this is like a Braxton Hicks, because I had been having those for like days, way before like it got to like the end of the pregnancy. So you want to sit up? You want to sit up? Alright, so I had my first contraction and I was like, okay, let me go pee to make it better, like to see if it'll go away, and it went away. And then I went into the living room. My mom, mother-in-law, and dad were there. See, now he's gonna get fussy. Let's give you this, because you need to finish eating. There you go. I didn't bring a receiving blanket in here. So mother-in-law, dad, and mom were there, and I went in there. I was like, I think I might have just had a contraction. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna sit here on the couch and wait and see if I have any more. And then I started having more. My dad started timing them. I texted Connor, he was at work. I texted him when I first felt that one when I went to the bathroom. I was like, I called him and I was like, you might have to come home. I'm not sure. It might be time. And granted, I'm 40 weeks and 2 days and already 2 centimeters dilated. If you've seen my like update videos, you would know. I'll link them down below. But yeah, so I was like, you might want to come home. And so I'm in the living room, right? And Dad's counting the contractions. And they're getting closer together. They're getting a little bit more intense. And I was like, Lisa, my mother-in-law, I was like, go ahead and call him. Tell him to come home. Because I couldn't like talk on the phone at this point. Because they were so like, they were starting to get pretty bad. And so he was already on his way home, luckily. And he got at the house at like 10:30. I told him go ahead and take a shower, like I can, you know, hang in there for a few more minutes just so you can shower and get everything in the car. And then around like 12 we were on our way to the hospital, and I live like 30 minutes away from the hospital, so we got there at like 12:30. Was walking in about 12:45 a.m. or p.m. a.m. at night. And I get in there, and I mean, by the time I was there, they were getting really bad, like really painful. So she got me in the room, started measuring everything, the contractions, keeping up with Kelly's heart rate, and she was like, good news, you're not going home. And then they checked me to see how like dilated I was, and they were like, you're 5 to 6 centimeters. And I was like, oh, okay. At this point, I said, I want an epidural. Like, I really wanted to go into this doing it naturally, try to see if I could, like, tough it out, but nah. And, like, to all you moms out there that do it naturally, bless you, because there's no way in HE double hockey sticks that I would ever do it without an epidural. I thought I could, and then as I get on later into the story, you'll understand why I'm glad I did. But so we finally get me into the room that I'm going to deliver in. It's a pretty nice room, and the contractions are getting worse. The epidural is on order. Doctor hasn't, you know, gotten there yet, or isn't available yet to give it to me. And so I'm waiting and waiting. It's like 2 hours later. It's like 2:30 in the morning. Finally, he comes in, tries to give me the epidural. Had to get it in between the contractions because my contractions were going really fast, and the epidural, I'm like, not gonna lie, it was painful, it was hard, but it, like, as soon as I had it in, the pain from the contractions went away, and I was able to just relax a little bit, which thank God that I was able to relax, and thank God that I got it, because after that they laid me on my back, checked me again to see how far I was dilated. I was 8 centimeters dilated at this point, so I almost was too close to not getting that epidural. And then so Kal-El was, the way he was positioned, he was already really low down in me, and so I don't know. I was contracting really fast still. Couldn't feel them though. Like, I could feel them, but they weren't painful. I knew when they were coming on, but they weren't painful. And they were checking his heart rate, and they were like, okay, his heart rate's starting to drop a little bit. Maybe we need to let's try moving you into like a different position to see like if that helps, because if it doesn't come back up, then you're gonna have to have an emergency C-section. And I was like, because we were planned to go into this natural. I was supposed to be like induced that Friday, the day before I was going into labor. And I was like, like, no, I don't want to have a C-section. I really don't want to be cut open. And bless you mamas that have had C-sections. Like, my mom had a C-section, my husband's mom had a C-section, like, you know. So we flipped me over on my left side. His heart rate started to come up, thank God. And I was able to relax a little bit. They gave me like some kind of hormone thing to kind of like slow my contractions down long enough for me to get a few hours of sleep so that I would be good and ready to go to push and get him out when it came, you know, time for me to do that. And I guess so the doctor could get there. I have no idea why they do stuff the way they do, but I was glad that I got to sleep a little bit first. So then got up or woke up and they started coming in there and they started giving me, you know, the hormones. At this point I'm like starving too because I haven't ate anything. Well, I was just thirsty, mostly thirsty the whole entire time. But they came in, gave me some hormones or the pitocin or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'll look it up and, you know, write it in this video. But so the stuff that makes your contractions speed up. So they gave me that, and then as soon as I sat up, oh man, I threw up a couple of times, which is normal. Normally it happens, but I was like, oh, you know. But the good thing is, oh sorry, I scared him. The good thing is that since I had the epidural when I was getting sick, I could like almost not feel it as bad, you know. So that I guess that was okay. I mean, my legs, from my waist down, my legs were so numb and floppy. So that I was just like, ooh. And so yeah, so then they gave me that. The contractions started happening pretty close. And then they came in and checked me and they're like, you're at 9 centimeters. We're gonna have to start getting ready to, you know, do the thing now. And so yeah, so we started pushing. I think it was like 11 when we started, 11 a.m. Thursday, August 6th. And was pushing. And they did like the way we did it. Connor actually got to hold my leg up. He got to be like, he got to see everything. Like, he saw everything. I wasn't covered up. It was just out in the open. So, you know, he's experienced the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, I mean, that was pretty cool that he got to like really help. And so it was just, it was an experience. We did the tug of war thing with the sheets. I was holding one end and the nurses were holding another end, one nurse. And then, so we were just kind of like, they told me to like push and pull into like my stomach, like up to my legs, up to my hips and everything. So we did that and Kal-El came out within an hour and it was 12:09 when he was born. And I did have a 2nd-degree tear. So, but nothing near as bad as like a 3 or 4, so that was good, but still had to get stitches. So, and was really swollen, But, yeah, Connor got to cut the umbilical cord. As soon as Kal-El came out, they handed him straight to me so that we could do skin to skin. Like, they wiped him off a little bit. Connor cut the umbilical cord. And they handed him to me to do skin to skin. They even let me start breastfeeding him a little bit right away, which was great. And then they took him and he had kind of like a little bit of like issue breathing at first. It seemed like they had to deep suction him. I don't know if they do that to all babies, but I know they had to do that to him a couple of times. And then after that, they handed him to Connor so that I could, you know, finish pushing out the placenta. I mean, that all happened like really fast. I mean, them doctors, nurses were moving. I was just like, okay. So like, I kind of like don't remember that experience, like that part that well, because I was just exhausted. So anyways, we get all stitched up, all done. They take me and Kal-El, got to hold him on the way, which was really cool. Got to take me to the room. Oh, and they had, at this point, they started to go ahead, they already pulled the epidural out and everything. That was starting to wear off. So they rolled me into the room that we were going to be staying in the next couple of days. I think I got to practice feeding Kello, like breastfed one more time, and then which they don't eat that much in their first, you know, few hours of being born, and they just eat the colostrum, which, you know, you don't, I mean, some people might make a lot of that. I didn't make that much, but so fast forward later on to, you know, later on that night, I had just got done holding Kal-El and feeding him a little bit. We put him in his little thing that he was going to sleep in. I don't know what you call that. But then the nurse came in, and I noticed this when I was like holding him a little bit. Like he was kind of like his hands and feet were really cold. And I asked the nurse, I was like, can he have an extra blanket or something to wrap him up in, because he's like kind of, it seems like he's kind of cold. And she was just, you know, they have to come in, they have to check him out and everything. And she was checking him, and his breathing wasn't, like, they knew that he had some issues with it right after he was born. But he was experiencing a little bit of that still. So before I knew it, they were taking him to the NICU, and the nurse was like, we're just going to take him down, you know, get him checked out, let him be monitored there overnight, because we can monitor him more, easier, better there. And you can come down and visit him anytime during your, you know, any hours. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. He's gonna be okay. We'll go see him in a few hours. Let's get some sleep. Connor was like, let's get some rest. So let's fast forward into the morning, and we go there. They had got him an echocardiogram scheduled and done, and later on that day we found out that he had pulmonary hypertension, and he had like an air pocket around his heart and in his lung, I think. Again, this all happened like really fast. So we were like, okay, well, do you have any idea like when he's gonna come home? And they didn't know. They weren't sure. So this was Friday, and I was like, okay, well, I asked if we could stay an extra night, because I still wasn't able to walk really well. I was still really weak, and I also just kind of wanted to stay there so that I would be there with Kello. I could easily access him more. So he's passed out. So yeah, so we go and visit him Saturday. Well, I'll go ahead and say he had oxygen in him, but they didn't have the oxygen up very high, so that was good. Friday they didn't feed him at all, because they just wanted to make sure that he was doing well. So later on that night they went ahead and, you know, started to go on with the feeding. And they had to, I couldn't like breastfeed him, I couldn't nurse him yet, but I could pump and bring them the milk that I pumped, and they would feed it to him through the feeding IV, and then whatever I didn't have, they supplemented with formula. So that started that, and it was hard to breastfeed him because he had IVs in his arm. He had stuff hooked up to his feet for like monitoring him and checking his blood pressure and stuff like that. He had stuff on his chest to monitor his breathing and his heart, and then he also had like the breathing thing, and then they had the feeding tube in his nose. So it was just so much stuff on him. He wasn't able to wear clothes yet. And yeah, so at one point while we were visiting him Saturday, this was really freaking hard. I have to share this with you though. But I was like standing there right beside him, and then he's a grabber. Okay, he's a strong grabber, and he just yanked his feeding tube or his feeding IV right out of his nose, pulled it out almost all the way. And so when the nurse had to come in and put it back at the end, she had to pull it out and then put it back in. Poor thing was crying, squirming. I had to hold his hands. I mean, and I wanted to get this video up this month because September is NICU Awareness Month. And I wanted to share my experience, and I also wanted to say, bless you mothers and parents that experience the NICU. It is a terrifying, heart-wrenching experience to go through. It's not, especially if you go in there and you don't expect, like, throughout your whole entire pregnancy everything is fine, everything is normal, or the way it's supposed to be. As far as you're concerned, you're gonna be going home with them the next day. Yeah, but any NICU experience is hard, really hard. So I can relate to you mothers and parents who are experiencing this. There were so many babies in there, babies that had been in there for like, one was in there for like 45 days. You could tell like that there were tiny babies, parents that were staying the night there. I wish we could have stayed the night there, which we could have, but it was just really hard. And also healing. I needed to heal and get my strength up because I wanted to be able to take care of him. And Connor also didn't know if he was going to have to go back to work or not, so he needed to get some sleep. So Saturday we experienced that, and then we went home, and we called, and they were like, good news, they're going to start increasing his feedings. So they did that, and then by Sunday when we went up there, they were like, do you notice anything? And I was like, what? I don't know. I said something so stupid that it was like what I was supposed to notice was so obvious, but I didn't know how to see him any other way without the oxygen and stuff in his nose. And they took him off the oxygen, and they took the feeding IV out, and they had started feeding him, bottle feeding him. And that was like one of the most happiest moments throughout that whole entire pregnancy and throughout the whole NICU experience, was just seeing him without those. And so then they were like, we're going to monitor to see how he does. He's supposed to get his echocardiogram Monday. They were going to do a follow-up one. And I am so nasally. Like, I'm experiencing like this cold right now, and I feel like it's freaking coronavirus, but I really hope it's not. I think it's just a difference in the weather where, okay, so that's a different, I'll explain that at the end. But yeah. So they're like, if the echocardiogram goes good and he does good off of the oxygen, we can probably send him home Monday or Tuesday. So they were like, if you'll bring your carrier or car seat in the morning Monday, bring him an outfit to go home in and stuff like that. And so yeah, we're like, yeah, we'll definitely, we'll do that. And they were going to increase his feedings over time, try to get him up to, like, I think he had to be up to 72 fluid ounces in a day or something like that. So we come back Monday, wait around for the echocardiogram results, and the doctor said that they were good, and that they would discuss it with the nurse practitioner. And so she would come in and talk to us about it, and she came in, explained everything, gave us a list of all the things that we needed to do, like find him a pediatrician, and a couple other things that we needed to get done. And then once all that's done, he should be good to go to home Tuesday if everything is good. So that was a relief to know. I mean, every day you leave that hospital knowing that he is not, or your child is not coming home with you, it is hard. It is so hard. I don't think I've cried that much, and I don't think my husband has cried that much, in a long time. I think that's honestly probably the most he has cried. I don't know. That's what he said, I think. But anyways, so he got to come home Tuesday. It was like, so, I don't even know. And then I didn't know this was gonna happen, but it was so great. It was so fun, and I'm so happy that it did. My brother-in-law, sister-in-law, they were in town, and they decorated the house, put up like welcome home baby, and got him like Superman stuff, and it was just so nice. There were balloons on the mailbox. It was just like a really great celebration, and yeah. So Khalil is, I mean, his name, I got it in the beginning of my pregnancy. I got it from Superman's name, and I was like, wow, this really fits him, because he really pushed through all of that and wasn't there very long, and I'm glad he didn't have to experience that very long, because some babies they have it way worse. And what he had was, I think I already said it in this video, pulmonary hypertension. There's like, he was just, I mean, me and Connor have been blessed throughout this whole pregnancy. You know, family has really helped, and just, yeah. So, oh gosh, I just went off subject. But anyways, his name is from Superman's like space name, not Clark Kent, but it's I'll put it in here. It's Superman's name is like Kal-El, and it's spelled with a K, and it has a hyphen in it. And I didn't want to have the hyphen in it, and I wanted his name to start with a C, because Connor's name starts with a C, his brother's name starts with a C, so I just wanted to kind of continue that, and so his name is Kal-El. Oh, my eye itches. So yeah, he is mommy's little Superman, and yeah, I don't know, love him so much. He was 7 pounds and 9 ounces when he was born, and then he had his pediatrician the next day. His pediatrician appointment the next day, that went well. Everything sounded good. He was weighing well. And then 2 weeks later, he had another follow-up one. Everything sounded good. And then a week later, he had another echocardiogram, like a follow-up visit. The hospital wanted us to do a follow-up visit. So, and that was good. And then before we know it, because we found this out during our hospital visit, our hospital stay, that my husband's job was going to be transferred, or it's kind of like a new position transfer, and we moved. We've moved. So we live in Texas now. We were in South Carolina, and that was interesting traveling with him. I mean, we had okay from doctors to do that. Like, no doctors were against it, but I mean, it was kind of like it was gonna have to happen anyways, regardless, because you can't pay rent for 2 places. So yeah, here we are in Texas. This is eventually gonna be, once I get it set up, I'll do a before and after. This is gonna actually be like my room that I work in, make videos in, stuff like that, and store like my crap in, like, you know, makeup and stuff. That's not really crap, but you know. Yeah, so eventually this will be put together. The other room at our old house where we used to live didn't really ever get put together because we didn't know how long we were going to be there. And we're supposed to be staying here for a good amount of time, hopefully. But yeah, so that is my birth story. My experience, I will do like a postpartum follow-up separate video, because that's gonna make this video really long. I really tried to make this short, but it was just wow, it was an experience. And this little guy is asleep, thankfully. Hopefully he'll stay asleep. And yeah, maybe he'll stay asleep. Mommy can edit this really fast and upload it later. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna end that video here. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for future videos, and if you haven't, subscribe, like the video. Comment down below if you are a NICU mom. Comment hashtag NICU awareness, NICU mom, NICU parent, something like that. Let us know your experience in the comments, because it's easier to have somebody to relate to and talk to through this, because it's hard. It's definitely not easy. And nobody wants to see their child or a child in that position, or, you know, in there. So, alright. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye, world. Bye-bye, YouTube. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video.